do problems like 4 and 5 yesterday, remember if it says find all possible values, that's where you have to include what? Yes, the 2 pi n. And if you're adding 2 pi n, that means your values are going to be in radians. So this is the sine inverse of root 3 over 2. So the root 3 over 2, again, you are going to have this first quadrant, okay, on your quiz. You're going to fill that out. So if you're trying to find this, you're looking to see where the y coordinate is root 3 over 2. So in the first one, you're going to be right here, which is at pi over 3. So one of your solutions is going to be pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. And then use, again, the all students take classes. Where else is the sign positive besides quadrant 1? Quadrant 2. Okay, so then how can you find the next one? I like to count. Okay, so, or use my reflections. Okay, so if you know that it's at pi over 3 in quadrant 1, which is right here, okay, the other place is a reflection. So if this is 1 pi over 3, this is 2 pi over 3. So it's just 2 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. I'll keep this the same color. 2 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. Okay, that all students take classes is going to be really, really helpful. All right, for B, cosine inverse of root 2 over 2. So this is the x-coordinate. Where in quadrant 1 is it root 2 over 2? 45, which is what in radians? Pi over 4. So this is going to be pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. Then I have to find the other place where cosine is positive. So besides quadrant 1, where else is cosine positive? In quadrant 4. So if this is pi over 4 and you have to get here, just count. Okay, if you don't have the unit circle, so 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 7 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. Okay, if you do have your unit circle, you'll be able to look and see the x-coordinates root 2 over 2, and then you'll just write it down. Okay? All right, questions for me on that one? Do you guys understand what I'm counting by? If it's pi over 4, how many degrees am I going? 45 each time. Okay, if I'm counting by pi over 3, I'm going 60 degrees each time. Okay? All right, and then C is the tangent. This is negative root 3. So just like I've done with the other ones, I always look in quadrant 1 first. So in quadrant 1, it's root 3 over 3, 1, and then root 3. But the tangent is positive in quadrant 1. I have to find where the tangent is what? Negative. So where is the tangent negative according to all students take classes? 2 and 4. So all I have to do is find the reflections. Okay, so if this is your pi over 3, then here you are in quadrant 2. So this would be 1 pi over 3. This would be 2 pi over 3. So 2 pi over 3 is one of your answers. 2 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. And then the other one you guys said was in quadrant 4. So I just have to keep counting. So 1 pi over 3, 2 pi over 3. This is 3 pi over 3. This is 4 pi over 3. This is 5 pi over 3. So again, we're choosing these two because of the S and the C. Okay, this is where the tangent is going to be negative. So this is 5 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. Okay, questions for me on that one? Okay, and then with the tangent, you won't have like the root 3 on there. You'll just think of the reflections, but you could always divide. You could always do y divided by x. That would be another way. Okay, now this one says give your answer in both radians and degrees, and we're evaluating the inverse trig functions. So these are the capital letters. If you have the capital letters, for the sign, it's negative 90 to 90, which is Q1 and Q4. Okay, for cosine, this is restricted to Q1 and Q2. Tangent is Q1 and Q4. And so we're going to use that for both. Okay? All right, now if I had to do this without the unit circle, what I would do first is think to myself, where is sine root 3 over 2? So again, you're going to have that at the bottom. So where is the y-coordinate root 3 over 2? At which value? At 60 degrees. Okay? So, I always like to draw my circle, as you have noticed. Okay, this is where your sine is root 3 over 2. So it's all students take classes. So if you just go 60 degrees each time, 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60, 60, 60, you just have to find where it's negative root 3 over 2. So it's negative here and here because the sign is positive. So this is positive root 3 over 2. This one is negative root 3 over 2. This one is negative root 3 over 2. Which one do we use according to the restrictions? 4. So if you're looking at your unit circle, you're going to see 2 places. You have to know that sine is 1 and 4. Okay? So if this is pi over 3 in quadrant 4, this is just negative pi over 3. So it should be negative pi over 3, negative 60 degrees. Now, in my opinion, doing that one is easier. And I've told you before, that is the one that you should be using because it should be from negative 90 to 90, and that fits. But remember, I will accept the positive version of that. So if this is negative 60 degrees, okay, to find the positive, it just starts here and goes around. So if you put 300 degrees, okay, if you put 300 degrees and 5 pi over 3, I would accept that as well. How many of you did this one, the negative one? How many of you did the 300? Okay, if you were using your unit circle, then you probably use that. If you were doing it without it, then you might be more likely to use that just because it's easier to do without it. All right, and then B is the cosine inverse of negative 1/2. Okay, so this is quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. So again, what I would ask myself is where is the cosine positive 1/2? And I would use this. So it's positive 1/2 at pi over 3. Oh, sorry, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, so if that's pi over 3 gives you the positive 1/2. Then in quadrant 2, this is 2 pi over 3. That's going to give you the negative 1/2. And then again, if you have your unit circle in front of you, you're just looking for the x-coordinate that fits this. Okay, sine is the y-coordinate. All right, so it would be 2 pi over 3, which is 120 degrees. All right, and then C is the tangent. So the tangent inverse of root 3 over 3, that would be one that you can do pretty quickly if you have this memorized, because you know root 3 over 3 comes first there. That's at pi over 6, which is 30 degrees. Okay, so the root 3 over 3, the 1, the root 3 for the tangent, I would know that. Okay, this one is tangent of negative 1. We'll see how we know tangent of positive 1 is here at pi over 4. So guess where it's negative 1? At negative pi over 4. Okay, so this should be negative pi over 4, which is negative what? 45 degrees. Or if you wrote the positive angle, which I will accept for this, it would be 7 pi over 4, 315 degrees. Okay, so like I said, I'll accept either one for those. All right, questions about 5. All right, for 6, the pilot of a plane wants to fly 800 miles east, 155 miles north of the airport. So what I would do is start here, and then east is directly to the right, so that's my 800, 155 north. Here we go. And then to the nearest degree, what direction should he head? Well, if he wants to go there, he should be heading this way, right? What of you in physics? Okay, I wasn't sure if you guys have done vectors. There you go. Okay? And then, so what you're going to do is this is the opposite, this is the adjacent. So when I say I need to see work, I want to see a picture for this, and I want to see the tangent inverse of 155 divided by 800. That's what you have to show. Okay, and then you should get 11 degrees. Okay, and as long as you put 11 degrees, that's fine. Put 11 degrees northeast is where he wants to head. That's fine too. Okay, but all you need is the 11 degrees. That's fine for this. All right, and then 7. This is another one where you need to show me where you're getting your answers from. So at the very least, what you should have for 7a is theta equals the sine inverse of 0.95. Okay, and when you do the sine inverse, what did you guys get? 71.8 degrees. So remember, we're rounding to the nearest tenth. Is 71.8 in the range that's given? Is it between negative 90 and 90? Yep. So if it is, then you're good. Okay. For this one, again, what I should see is the cosine inverse of 0.2. Okay. So for your reviews, especially, you have to make sure you're showing your work. So when you do the cosine inverse of 0.2, you should get 78.5 degrees. That is not in between 270 and 360. So what you do is you say, okay, 270 to 360 is what quadrant? Is in quadrant 4. So what we're going to do is we are going to draw our reference angle, 78.5, in quadrant 4. Okay? This one's nice because you just have the 78.5. So if this angle is 78.5 degrees, okay, what you have to do is find the angle that starts at the initial side and ends at the terminal side. These two angles together make how many degrees? 360. So 360 minus 78.5 is how you find your solution for this one, and you should get 281.5 degrees. Okay, for C, again, your first step is to show me how you're finding your value. So the sine inverse of negative 0.204, and this will give you negative 11.8 degrees. Now, negative 11.8 is not in between them, so then I have to go to my reference angle. All reference angles should be positive, so when you do your reference angle, this is going to be positive. Now, this is 90 to 270. So 90 to 270 spans what two quadrants? Q2 and 3. Okay, so 90 to 270, Q2 and Q3. This is how you determine where to make it. It all depends on what this value is. See how this is a negative? Where is the sign negative? In 2 or in 3? Okay, so the sign is negative in 3. That's where you need to draw it, is in quadrant 3. So if you put it in quadrant 2, that's where the sign is positive and not negative. So 11.8 is right here. Again, it has to be positive. It's your reference angle. And the measure that you're finding starts at 0 and goes to this terminal side. So to find this, can you guys see that this covers the whole first and second quadrant? That's how many degrees? 180. So you have to add 180 plus 11.8 for this one, and you will get 191.8 degrees. Okay, so you have to add for this one to find that angle. That's why drawing this out is really important to understanding what you're trying to find. For this one, we're doing the tangent inverse of 8.055. What do you get for that? 82.9, yes. Is that in between here? Nope. Okay, so then I have to determine where this is going to be. So 90 to 270. So 90 to 270, we've already done one like that. So 90 to 270 is 2 or 3. So this one is positive and it's the tangent. So where is the tangent positive? In quadrant 3, so I have to draw this in Q3. Okay, this one was also Q3. So we're going to have a similar process. Now this is 82.9, which is really close to the 90. Okay, so this angle is 82.9, but the angle I want to find starts where? Always starts at 0, yes. So it starts here, ends up here. What do I do? What do I do? Yes, 180 plus 82.9. Okay, and you should get 262.9. Okay. How did we do on those the second time around? Pretty good, or did we forget to check for the negatives and positives?